Hey there, I'm so excited it's almost time to swap out those winter coats for much lighter ones. This time of year the weather is usually dodgy and I wanted something oversized I could easily throw on. So I whipped up a quick poncho. I used a couple pieces of fleece I had left over from a project, but feel free to use whatever you have like old blankets or scarves. First, cut a couple 1.5 inch strips for the belt to make the belt more durable. Here's a quick technique I used to cut the strips. Before we move on to the next step, I want to add that if you're using two halves like I did, note that what you do to one half, you do to the other. Next, drape the fabrics over your shoulder and adjust them to your desired length. Once you do that, mark where your shoulder seams would be. For mine, I chose a high-low style, but if you want yours one length, then you can skip this step and simply fold it in half to find your shoulder seam. Afterwards, pin the back halves together a little past the shoulder mark, then using your ruler, make a line across both sides to clean up the shoulder seams. For the neck opening, measure 7 inches, which would be 3.5 on either side of the neck. Starting at the back, draw a slight curve for the back neck. Now open the front halves and draw one side of the V-neck and cut. You could do this by hand, but I used a hip curve to avoid having a corner at the edge. With one side cut, use it as a guide to cut the other. Afterwards, close the center back seam, then finish the neck and edges at the center front. Fit to locate your waist, then pin an inch or so away from your side for the belt slits. Judging by the thickness of the belt, you may want to pin the slits a little more than 1.5 inches. Using the pins as a guide, measure and mark the slit for the other side. You should have what resembles an oversized buttonhole. For the back slits, just make sure the pins go all the way through, so all you need to do is mark the positions. Before cutting the slits open, you'll need to reinforce the fabric. This is where the interfacing comes in. Cut a small rectangle and press the shiny side onto the wrong side of the slit. It's also available in black, but I just used what I already had on hand. Alright, here comes the fun part. I needed a lot of thread for this, so I opted to use crochet thread instead. Thread your needle, leaving one end much longer than the other, then knot the longer end. Starting at one corner, bring the needle up from the wrong side. About 3/8 away, point the needle towards the raw edge. To complete the stitch, bring the needle through the back and out from under the slit, making sure the end of the thread is underneath. If you forget to place the thread under the needle, simply bring the needle up under the thread to complete the stitch. Once you get back to the starting point, bring the needle back on the wrong side, then cut the thread and make a few knots to secure it in place. I promise you it's easy once you get the hang of it. So much so that it only took me one evening to complete the entire poncho. As for the belt strips, I laid one on top of the other, then finished the edges in the same way. Lastly, close the sides starting an inch or two above the belt slits. I sewed the seam slanted to form high-low splits at the sides. As always, I encourage you to add your own spin and make it to suit your needs. If you do, I'd love to see your version. Thanks to those of you that follow me on Instagram for helping me choose a color thread. As you can see, red was the clear winner. If you'd like to partake in my future projects, be sure to follow me along. All my links are in the description box below. Thanks for watching. Until next time.